Hello and welcome everybody to Mystical Awakenings with Deb and Arjay.
Howdy, buddy.
Right here on KGRA. We are so excited about tonight. We have a young man on who we've actually worked with him quite a bit in the past. He's done some shows with us. The first time I met him, or we met him, was after he had a regression with Mary Bassett, who is a regressionist for MUFON, and we do the show The Voices of Contact together.
Mm-hmm.
Mark has come so far that it's unbelievable. He did have contact. He's been regressed more than once. He's had some amazing contact. He's been on The Voices of Contact as the person being regressed, I think 4 times, and he has co-hosted, co-paneled with us 4 times. So we're super excited. He's Mark Herzog is an amazing person. He's very spiritually attuned. He does tarot, oracle, and he's a medium. He loves to do research in the spiritual world and meditation. He practices often. Of course, you know, I love that. He recently learned how to remote view, and that kind of led him to speaking and channeling with E.T. And he's been working on this for a while, and he's gotten so good at it. It's really become a lot easier for him. He is right now preparing, getting into somewhat of a meditative state. When we do bring him on, we will do a very brief breathing exercise, relaxing exercise, just to get him all the way there.
And you can join in if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely. Please sit back and relax and do it with us. It'll only take a few minutes, but once we do that, we will mostly Arjay, I think, because I think one voice is going to be better at working with Zeke, the entity.
Yeah, so he's going to be channeling an extraterrestrial that he channeled while he was getting regressed. And we found out about it. So when he comes on, like Deb said, he's going to be, or the extraterrestrial is going to come through.
Right. He will complete that mission right here on the air with all of you. We have questions. Of course, you know, we could have Mark on once a week and be happy with asking all kinds of things. But, you know, Arjay, we did a list today, and we'll go over those. So are we ready to bring Mark in and do some relaxing?
I believe so.
Hello, Mark. Welcome and thank you. I know that you're in somewhat of a meditative state at the moment, but I would like to complete that so we can totally bring Zeke through you. The two of
Yes.
you have quite the connection. So if everybody could just sit back for a moment.
Thank you for having me. And hello,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thank you for being here. We are very honored to have you with
Me too.
us. It's we have a good thing going here. So if everybody could kind of close your eyes, sit back, relax. Take a nice breath in through your nose and blow it out through your mouth. The more relaxed you become, the calmer you will be, the easier the breath will flow. Again, breathe in through your nose, feel it swirling down through your body, and blow it out through your mouth. And again, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can feel yourself becoming very, very relaxed. One more time. Breathe in through your nose, a nice deep breath. Feel it swirling, calming, relaxing, and blow it out through your mouth. All right, I think we are ready. Is Zeke with us?
Good afternoon.
Hello. Thank you for joining us tonight, you and Mark both. If it's okay with you, we would like to spend most of this time with you, more understanding more about you if we can, so we can better communicate. Would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're going to ask some questions of you. Zeke, I believe it is. So can you tell us just exactly who you are and where you come from?
I come from Orion, where I stay in a higher dimension. I travel through 3 different dimensions to work and help others with their ascension. I am part of a team that assembles and goes through your galaxy among a few others to work with certain individuals with their journey.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, Zeke, do you have a physical appearance, or are you just light body? I mean, if you had a physical appearance, what would you look like to us humans on Earth? If you don't mind asking that, is it possible to answer that?
Depending on what I'm doing and dimensions that I go to, I sometimes have a physical and sometimes I don't. It depends on the assignment and the individual that we are going to seek. When I have a physical, I do form as reptilian, but I do have many other forms. Depending on the individual, I will form myself into something more suitable for that individual in order to do the necessary work. There's no need to cause fear or harm to someone.
Thank you for that information. Uh, the next question is, we here on Earth believe that there are different dimensions or levels of the frequencies of existence that you exist in or on. Can you tell us what density or existence you reside in most of the time? You said 3. Can you explain those a little more?
I am normally in fifth dimension for most terms because usually I have lots of work to do within that. Not just for me as an individual, but also for many that I help. I do help a few other associated groups that work within the sixth, sometimes seventh, but it's very rare that I ever have to go there. Usually third and fourth densities, most of my work when it comes to other individuals such as yourselves. There are other humans in many other worlds and throughout your galaxy. I work with them as well.
Thank you for that answer. So when you were in the fifth dimension, can you explain some of the process it takes to come down to, I say come down to, come into the fourth and the third dimension? Is there a process that has to go on there? And what is that process?
Well, it depends on where we are going and what type of work we are doing. We have a ship that usually does the majority of that work for us. But when we are on a job individually, such as going through a pod and traveling outside of our ship to lead ourselves to destinations, there are some things that we have to do with our physical bodies before going into the pod. Sometimes we have to materialize or dematerialize depending on the frequency or vibration that we are assigning. We are sometimes working in a fifth dimension, and when we have to travel to third, it's almost like wrapping your geometric system and trying to dense it to a more firm and dense object. When you look at your world, it comes round. We see it in multi different functions. We see it in layers. We see it in many patterns, many vibrant colors, with many frequencies that arise from it. But when we come into a 3D dense, we don't see those types of things because we are now vibrating to a frequency in order for you to work with us. So depending on the work that we are doing will determine how we transform our bodies. If we're lucky, we may not even need a physical to do the job that we need to do. Usually those missions go very smoothly.
Thank you for those answers. We really appreciate that. So tell us, Seek, now you said we, where you reside in, let's say the fifth dimension, can you tell us more about your, what we call here on Earth, belief systems, where you exist? For instance, what we call religious beliefs or values. Do you have any of those? Or, yeah, I can start there. Do you have any beliefs that are being considered what we consider religious or religious values, where you come from?
Such as your planet, you all have different forms of religion. And many other planets have many societies that have their own religion, just like how many other ones have many more. There's usually a religion in many different variables, many different points. Just as how we described from going to a 5D to a 3D, how we see things as vibrant color, vibration, frequency, and multi-layers. And as you guys only see it as a round ball, just like in your physical, when you have a religion, you have your belief system. But when we look at you, we see the belief system within you, but we also see the multi-layer function of what it does in your reality. So when it comes to religion, we can pretty much go without it. We do have a belief. We do believe in one source of one God. But depending on the source that you get that type of information, we might say something different depending on where you are in your frequency and vibration.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate those answers. Thank you so much. And another question: where you reside, where you come from, the Orion system? Do you have family structures or like different classes of people in your society, or is everyone, pretty much, considered the same and treated as such? So, do you reproduce and have family structures?
I once had a family, but we did not agree to the way things were going. So I moved on and found my own family. But to those that are run through all of the different races that I assign or work with, I found a home and a family where I'm at now. I work with many different beings from many different races, from many, many different galaxies. I found that my family is there, not so much where I came from. Where I came from, it's a bit of a messy place right now. It once was very beautiful, but with change comes new growth.
Thank you for those answers. I appreciate it. So, where you come from, do you have, I want to say, like a special title or purpose in your society, or like a rank, or I don't want to sound too 3D here, but do you have a mission? And like we have scientists and engineers, and we have military people, and we have doctors and lawyers. Does your society have specific missions that people can choose from to do, or is it just beyond that?
Yes, we do have ranks, and depending on the rank will determine the type of missions that you're capable of doing. But these missions are not really necessarily missions than how we like to interpret it, as it's just our civil duty for how you would describe it. I have worked on many missions, even with ranks under or sometimes above me. But that also means that I have to work with others in order for me to do higher ranks.
Right.
I am just like a human in a sense, where we make mistakes as well. And sometimes missions do get very complicated. But we work together very well. Our family, we stand strong, and we have a lot of resources at hand.
Now, coming from the fifth dimension, where do you guys get your information to help lower dimensions, so to speak? Is that something that just comes naturally when you're in the fifth dimension, that you try to help others ascend? Or is this something that's run by a council or a galactic family?
Yes, we have very much galactic families, which is kind of what I've been speaking of. But we also have many other people that branch from that tree. We have a very large collective base in 5D, but in 4D, looking, I guess, in a lower density, we work within the lower density almost similar to the way you work in the 4D from your lower density. You being in 3D, you have to put yourself in a meditated state in order for your physical bodies, at least right now, to reach yourself into a 4 or 5D density. We're already there once we are working in 5D. So when we look down to a 4D perspective, we already have the time and the timelines, as well as what is going on with the lower density individuals that we are working on. Everybody has their job. We all have our journey. Some intertwine and some don't. But that is the reason why that we are coming to this ascension in order for us to all just start working together, make things easier.
Thank you for that. Speaking of working together, I'd like to know, was it your choice or Mark's choice or a mutual agreement to have this connection between you and Mark and to channel through Mark? And what is the reason and purpose of this connection?
The connection goes very far. We have known each other as spirits for a very long time. I have also lived many lives next to Mark. As his soul intertwines to many other lives, so do I. But since I have the tools and knowledge in order to be able to cross and see exactly what I have gone through with Mark as an individual, we worked very well in some of the lives that we've had. So I've taken upon myself to make sure that I take care of him whenever he needs me, when he asks me. We've always worked well together. And I figured that if he wanted to acknowledge and have these experiences, then we will have these experiences.
Thank you for those answers. I appreciate that. We all do. Now, I don't mean to harp on this question, but could you tell our audience and us what your homeland is like? I mean, it's so we get a better feeling of what your existence is on an everyday basis.
It once was a beautiful place. When I was younger, I used to go out and play quite often. We grew up with a very loving family. Our planet was very different. It was similar to your Earth, but in your 3D perspective, our color tone of the sky, the temperature in the air, how you breathe, all of it was slightly different due to the fact that our bodies are made different. As a human may not be able to survive very well without protection on our planet, we were fine. We were able to live and thrive. We were able to bring up many tribes, many families, and we've all succeeded. And there came a time where we had to either make a choice to either join or be destroyed. Many of our tribes and family decided to join, while me and many others chose to not and go our separate ways. We are very fortunate that we left when we did, because once we left our planet, it was destroyed. It is no longer the planet that we once used to have. Now it is all AI, and everything that is on that planet is very dangerous. It is not home anymore.
Wow, thank you for that. Are some of your tribes and groups taking trying to rectify this situation, and do you have the technology to do it? Can it be done?
I work with many groups with lots of technology, with lots of connections. I work among them because I am capable of doing the things that I love most, which is helping humanity, helping the collective, being part of something that's bigger than me. That is the reason why I do what I do and I help people. But right now, it is very, very difficult with a lot of things going on right now. I've been very busy on my side of things, but I could not have agreed to a much better life than what I have.
Excuse me. Thank you for that answer. I appreciate it. We have a question from our audience. Curtis wants to know, why does our planet seem so chaotic right now? Do you know that answer?
We are coming to an end of cycles. The cycles are coming down to a point where a lot of tension, a yin and yang, push and pull, the energies are getting more and more dense, almost like it's about to pop, like a pimple. Right now, it's just getting a little bit more chaotic in your perspective. In ours, we look at it as people are waking up, they're asking questions, and they're getting the answers. People are ascending and they're learning their true self. And during this cycle, many of us can sometimes have chaos within each other. Once you understand that there is something happening in your physical reality that makes your physical body not feel so pleasant in your perspective as a negative, you tend to try to understand and figure out the situation that makes you feel that way. And sometimes doing so causes fear from the unknown. And if you are not in the right state, you can sometimes fall in the spectrum of into a negative state of mind. And we all do it. Even higher dimensional beings sometimes has it, depending on what's going on. But we're mostly over when it comes to emotions.
Thank you. I totally agree with you, Zeke. I think this is something that we just need to go through, and it's up to each individual how to take it and get through it. We have the ability to do that, and we need to focus more on the, I think, positive and the love, and that's what will get us out of this chaotic situation. Thank you.
Some people tend to think that we don't have emotions depending on what we are doing. And it's a very problematic deception. And we tend to make sure that we do have some form of emotions. We just tend to keep it to ourselves when we're doing our job. We know that our presence and our vibrations are very strong compared to a human being, at least right now. That shall change in the near future. But until then, we are trying to help you guys ascend to a state where we're capable of working among you without causing fear, without causing panic. Because our vibration and frequency, you guys may not understand how to fathom it, how to relate to it. You might feel fear because you don't understand what you are feeling. Because the human body has lots of emotions. And where you are all at as an ascension, you are not necessarily ready to obtain your emotions to a degree of being capable of vibrating to a high frequency and staying there. We have that covered, and that's why we are helping with this ascension in order for you to get to where we are. The human body is a very special thing, and that is the reason why we must have the humans on our side in order to be able to help this ascension grow to where we all are. You are working within, we are working without.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. Now we got a two-part question here from Debbie Adam. The first part is, how far back is your knowledge of ancient Earth and the help that was given to ancient people to build up the communities or to bring us to survival mode, actually?
I know lots of knowledge when it comes to Earth, since I've done many jobs in the fifth density there on your Earth. I get to see everything in the multi-layer function. Think of it in a way where we get to see things in a much higher perspective, an eagle eye perspective, looking down to the ground, seeing everything from afar, while someone on the ground may not be able to see as far as the eagle could. We get to see the ground as many different layers of functioning going on all at the same time. And depending on the changes that's happening will determine the future or the past. We get to see the history as the way it is now, going back or forward. You have to understand that time doesn't exist on our end. So when it comes to understanding the history, we already see much of it. We know what's going on. We see the chaos, the struggle, the pain, but we also see the growth. So right now, we can see things in a multi-surface level. So we tend to know a lot about the history of Earth. The civilizations, as you already know, that's been in public, there's a lot of things from the history that's surfacing. That was something kind of planned. We just had to speed it up a little.
Nice. Thank you for those answers. I mean, it's kind of like past, present, and future is all happening at the same moment.
Hence, the reason why you see that happening everywhere. Everything's coming together. And sooner or later, everyone's going to understand that once you break down the concept of time and stop thinking of past and future or now, just focusing on the now, and then the past and future will already come within you. You tend to focus on this quote time instead of looking at it as part of you as of the now, because the past is the past. But if you box it, that means that you are keeping it far away from your knowledge instead of looking within and knowing that the past is part of you. So you have the past knowledge, and that goes as the future.
Thank you for that. That was very enlightening. Appreciate it. So the next question she had, how much help was given to build the massive pyramids? And I got to believe that it was a lot. If you know anything about that, we'd appreciate just a little information on that.
As I must tread lightly, because there's still a lot of information that's coming through and surfacing right now. And maybe if you hold that question,
okay,
sometime in the future, we may discuss that. But for now, yes, I know a little bit, and I was there during some of those moments. But I am not very knowledgeable to the plans of how they created it and exactly who. But I was part of coming during the time when I was younger. I got to see some of them being built from the very beginning. That was during the time when Egypt was a very large oasis. That is where I stayed temporarily before I went back home.
Understood. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a very complex situation, and we are finding out more and more every new day about this this undertaking.
As what you will all say, I would mention hold your hats. Because near the future, you are going to be having to sponge a lot of detailed information that is going to wake up many, many more people.
Agree. Agree. No, as I'm sure you know, a lot of us humans, when we hear the word reptilian, we tend to think or feel, whether it's right or wrong, uh, we have this negative persona or look at our lack of trust when it comes to talking about the reptilian species. Can you give us some insight on this and tell us why this is? Is there a reason to feel this way, or is it just information that we don't understand?
You understand very well what you have all experienced as a collective, but as an individual, how do you necessarily feel about them? Just like how would anyone else feel about them? Some people may fear them while others might like them. Just the other way around, as the races of many forms of reptilians, they might like you or might not like you. We all have a choice of what we look at as negative or positive. We all look at different perspectives due to our experiences. So, as human beings tend to look at things as known as a truth from others' truths, we tend to help guide to let everyone know that there are good and bad in many, many different forms of many different races. There is not one race out there that is perfect or perfection. You are not going to find a race that never makes a mistake. You are not going to find a race that is going to be able to perform the perfection of all good. We all have a good and positive in our systems. We all have choices. We all have a vibration. Again, depending on what you are doing and what you are trying to create in your reality during that time will determine how you want to vibrate. If you want to do something that might be, quote, negative to an individual, your thoughts have to be very negative in order for you to even make the action to doing so. So we look at it in the sense of why put the thoughts of something negative before even meeting one of us? Maybe you might find us very sweet.
Thank you for that. I agree with you. I think there's, for lack of communication, good or bad in all races and all species, negative and positive. And we can't judge that, and until, like you said, we actually meet those people. So you said that you're part of a galactic family. Can you? And I did wanted to know if, even when we're talking about different races, insectoids, they're probably the same thing, right? There's probably good and bad in those too, right? There's negative and positive.
Yes, there is. There's many on your planet that are good and bad, but it just depends on what they are doing. You might look at some of them as bad. We might not agree or disagree. Doesn't really necessarily mean that we look at them as good or bad. We look at it as they are just doing what they are meant to do. We will always encourage everyone to have their own choice to live how they want. That is the most genuine thing that anybody can teach you. We have to live by our hearts, not by our brain. And some people need to learn that as long as you follow your heart, I don't think you are going to have a problem finding the more positive that you will love. But if you keep keeping your mind into a negative perspective, thinking that you are only going to find a reptilian that is going to be pure evil and going to eat your brain, then clearly that's what you will be creating in your reality. That is what you are seeking, if that is what you are thinking. You are creating this reality if that is exactly what you want to think of us as. So we try to help others, including Mark during his journey, to learn to not think as positive or negative, but to look at it as what it just is. What do you see? What do you feel? Embrace that moment and then go with your heart. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not right for you. But if it does not feel like it is safe, then maybe it's best that you move on and keep yourself away. But if you find the love and you feel that connection, then maybe there's a little bit more to that than what the human mind is portraying.
Thank you for that. I totally agree with you. We have a question from one of our people in the audience. Ron asked, do you have any more knowledge of the moon or Antarctica? And if you want to break that up, that's fine. But I guess, there's a lot of talk about the moon not being a real moon. It's a satellite, and that it was brought here. And there's a lot of theories behind it. But he wanted to know if you have any certain knowledge we might know about that.
The moon is real. Yes, there are civilization within or outside of the moon. We do our work. We have some stations there on Earth as well as the moon and many other planets. We have a lot of different motherships that are among you without you even knowing. There's many motherships that are among your whole entire solar system. We are doing lots of work within your solar system and have been for thousands and thousands upon close to a millennia. We have been here for a very long time. But right now, if everyone wants to focus on the moon, let's do so. The moon was part of ascension that happened a long time ago. We brought it in order to help with an energy frequency. So it is more of a station in order for us to do our work and to help Earth move into a vibration frequency that would be more suitable for the human race to get to where they're at now. As you know, when you face your fears or face a lower vibration within your system, it causes a ruckus. Think of it almost as though you are facing your inner demons. So when your Earth is starting to get hit by higher frequencies, it intends to make everything that lives among the Earth to also feel that frequency and vibration. So it causes a little bit of a ruckus within your own individual energy frequency. And without knowing, you sometimes cause negative reactions, your emotions. You start feeling mad, sad, angry, or many other things in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes it just hits, maybe just because the frequencies are starting to go through your body and your body's trying to adjust. So the negative emotions or negative feelings that are in your system need to find a way out. So sometimes, depending on the moment, you might lash out by yelling or screaming or thinking negative about someone. It happens to everyone when they're going through a shift or change. It even happens to us when we are living within a 3D world for so long and we go to transfer into a 5D density. We too have to go through some form of a meditation in order to take out the negative emotions that are within us. Our emotions heighten a little bit more when we start going into a lower frequency density. It's because there's a lot of things that's within your energy system that is very finicky when the density is very strong. But once you go into a higher frequency, it tends to lighten up. Hence why people say to lighten up.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate your sense of humor. That pleases me. Thank you. So Ron, he also asked, is there equipment or a generator or something, that technology on the moon that creates these vibrations within us, or magnifies it?
There is, but there isn't at the same time. We tend to kind of help with stuff like that. There's certain jobs and certain missions for certain individuals or families and tribes that are out there. I tend to not be part of something like that. But from what I know in my knowledge, there are moments where some things have to be done in order to raise a frequency and vibration, but that's what the sun is for. Sometimes we work with the sun just as we work with the moon and just as we work within your whole solar system. Planets have to be adjusted. It's almost like tuning a piano. You can't just tune one note and expect all the other ones to function properly. So we have to work among your whole solar system in order to create or cause this ascension to work properly. That's how the flow of the energy will rise.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Listen, we're on Earth, as you say, we're kind of getting low on time. What can you tell us what Mark's mission is, and then that'll be our last question.
Mark's mission is very simple. He is here to help with frequency and vibration. Right now, he is going through a lot, but he's getting there. He needed to get through as we were discussing before, going through a higher density vibration and having to shake off all of the negative vibrations that just don't need to exist. It's his form or way for his body to get used to the frequency that we have to work through. We're getting there, but with Mark's mission, he is only simply here to help raise others' vibration by finding their true authentic self and to help people be exactly what they are meant to be.
Thank you for that. Well, this has been very enlightening. I appreciate your time, Zeke, and tell Mark we appreciate it too. So we're definitely. What, do you have anything to say?
Well, if Mark would, if it's not too tiring at this point, I know you've been through a lot, but if Mark would like to come back and talk with us for a moment, we would welcome that. We thank Zeke from the bottom of our hearts and look forward to more conversations with you.
We thank you. Thank you for having me, and you are always welcome.
Thank you, Zeke.
So is Mark with us now? That's a lot. That's a lot. You have been channeling for quite some time, Mark. I just really want to thank you so much. We do have a few more minutes. If you are up to talking about how difficult this is for you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just lightheaded.
Yeah.
I'm hot.
As somebody
Getting
who,
a heat flash.
as somebody who does, mediumship readings and a lot of meditation, I know that it takes a while to kind of come back from that. In fact, I went through that today. I got through a few readings, and RJ was trying to talk to me, and I said, I'm just coming back.
Yeah, it's not that it's draining. Like, I feel good when like my body feels good. Like I love the vibration that I have or feel when I come back. I'm just mentally foggy. Like
Right.
it just almost like I woke up from a nap and I'm trying to adjust to my surroundings just waking up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just takes me a moment to come to, and I'm just a little, I don't know, it just doesn't make me tired. It just makes me like foggy, like a
Right.
fog brain.
Right.
That's
Well,
all.
it's a shift in energy for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, anytime we
Yeah.
do this type of work, I always explain to people, you know, we have the physical brain, and then we have the mind, which is our consciousness, our soul self. So when we do this type of work, we are stepping out of that physical brain into
Yes.
the consciousness, the soul self. So coming back, you know, mind, body, soul, that's a thing for a reason. We need to bring that all together. So that's kind of where you're at right now, just trying to reconnect that mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. It's hard because like, so when I go into a channeling state, it's a little, it takes a little concentration because I have to it's like a remote view of like trying to connect to Zeke, trying to find him. And then
Mhm.
once I find him, and it's almost like eye to eye contact, and as soon as like I find him, it's like boom, he connects. But when he connects, now it's like a higher vibration trying to go into me, and now it's like my body has to go through this, not a funk, but like a transition
Right.
in order for my mind to gather information.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do it right, and if you were trying to talk to me or you're trying to talk to Zeke, I would hear Zeke wanting to talk and he'd be talking, but then my ego, I can feel it kind of wanting to come in.
Right.
And that's because it's like my spirit didn't, it's like it didn't connect. It didn't I don't know, align properly. So since there's an unalignment, it's I don't know, things come in fuzzy.
Mhm.
And that's what we call being human, right?
Right.
We just have that
Yeah.
ego.
Right.
Well, listen,
Hard.
it went really well.
It did.
It did, and I would love to do this, every so often for sure.
Yeah, if you're willing to do it
Okay.
again, you know, and I'm wondering if the audience will also feel like I'm feeling like I've done this with you enough now. I've been around you enough that I can feel the difference between if it's Mark or if it's Zeke.
Right.
So I'm just
Mary gets it
curious.
too. It's so weird because when I listen to my regressions, there's moments I don't hear the connection. Mary does. Like when I re-listen to their session, Mary's like, "Am I talking to Zeke?" And I'm thinking to myself, how did you know? How did you know? Like,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
like I was listening and I didn't know that I changed at that
It's,
moment.
it's just a different frequency, a different
Yeah, it's a different feel.
different feel. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. I mean, not
Yeah.
Mark the human is very, is pretty far along in is your evolution, but when Zeke comes through, it's just a little. It's a different vibe. That's all I can say. Different frequency.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm
it's
happy that you're able to see and feel the difference because I'm
right.
still trying to do that.
And Sylvia, who made this comment, I felt a lot of energy too during his channel. She has gotten to know you on the other show, so I was in contact.
Listen,
That being said, we are like way out of time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank
Everybody
you.
have a
Love you too.
fantastic week.
love you guys.
Thanks.
Until we
You
meet
too.
again, may all of your awakenings be mystical. Good
Bye,
night,
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.